another major round of selling, pushing the Dow Jones Industrial Average to their biggest three-day slide since March. For more details, let's go to Deborah Kostroun at the New York Stock Exchange. Deborah.
Thanks a lot, Pim. And yes, this week we saw some major losses as the markets were down Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And of course, a lot of selling on Thursday and Friday. What really brought us, it really brought down not only our performance for the week, but also for the year. Taking a look at that performance, the Dow Jones Industrial Average losing over 4% for the week alone. Not only that, the S&P losing just under 4%, down 3.9% for the week, and the NASDAQ off by 3.6%. And that also changed our landscape for our major averages for the year, because as we started out the week, the Dow was still up for the year, but now year to date, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down almost 2.5%, the S&P down about 2%, and the NASDAQ off by 2.8%. So a lot of changes that we saw as we did see quite a bit of selling. And the big story throughout the week, really the financials, and obviously among some of the worst performers, not only in Friday's session, but for the week, financials dropping 6% just over the past couple of days for its biggest decline since September. And this week, we had a lot of financial earnings that the market digested, but not only that, President Obama proposed those new rules to limit the size of banks and to limit the risk that a lot of those banks take on. Financials also under a little bit of a cloud of uncertainty as Ben Bernanke's confirmation for another term as head of the Fed kind of also weighing on the lenders as well. And remember, next Wednesday, we do have an interest rate decision from the Fed. We also got some earnings, Capital One Financial and American Express taking a hit. In fact, both those stocks falling the most in 8 months as analysts at FBR Capital reducing their earnings estimates for both those companies. Materials also among some of the worst performers along with those financials for the week. In fact, U.S. Steel, the worst individual performer in the S&P for the week. A lot of concern about China raising interest rates and what that could do to the global economic recovery and thus the demand for metals. Also, Advanced Micro Devices declining the most in 6 months on concern that the chip maker may struggle to maintain sales gains. So we did see that. And as we get into next week, 134 companies in the S&P will be reporting those earnings. So a busy slate next week. Pim, back to you.
Thank you very much. Deborah Kostroun reporting.